Hi there. Welcome to Parenting Challenging Kids YouTube channel. I'm Dr. Michelle Alden. Today we're going to talk about the framework that I help parents and families from. So it's kind of a perspective, I guess, but it's also some solid goals and objectives that I have when I'm working with families. And so I'm just going to talk about those. If you've listened to my other videos, you've probably heard bits and pieces of this all through the last couple of years that I've been doing this, but you may not have heard it all in one place. So I thought this would maybe be helpful to have it all in one spot. So the framework that I work with parents from, the goals that I have in working with you as a parent coach, one is that I want to help you to create the family that you want to have. And most parents that I work with, they feel like by the time they come to me that that's impossible, right? That it's gotten so bad and it's so difficult that that's not going to happen, and that they've kind of given up on what they thought it was going to look like. And there's some piece of that we kind of do have to let go of, because we don't get to control who other people in our family are and who our kids are. And so it's true, we might have thought it was going to be one way and then it turns out to be another way. But when I'm working with the family, I want to give back to you that it is your family and that you get to have a say in and you do need to have a say in what the values are going to be and how you're going to do things as a family. And so I find that a big part of a coach is to help you to see what you want it to be, whether you're getting coached in playing tennis or dieting, whatever, health, and parenting is no different. You need to be able to see like where you're going and what you want. And so that's the first thing that we want to do. We say that we want to help you to build a bridge to better behaviors, and that's a big piece of it. Is we want to look at, the way things are now and the way that you want it to be, and build a bridge to get there. And that's where coaching comes in, and that's where I can help so much in that. The second thing that I want to give you as parents is hope. And you're going to see that these three all tie in together a lot, because in part of starting to look at what you want it to be, it starts to instill some hope, like, oh, maybe it can be. And there is a possibility, because with our fears, we can kind of create a reality that is not based in hope at all. And we lose sight of where we're going and what we wanted. But I feel like a good coach gives you that hope because they're giving you that support, like, you're going to be able to do this. And so that hope is really important, because remember that hope is you can't always see it, you can't always see where you're going, but you have to have that hope that you can. So I do a lot of work around that, and it's a lot of the work that we do in the things that I have you change, because we're making these changes because of where we're going. And so if we talk about it in terms of building a bridge from where we are to where we're going to be, that bridge gets built one stone at a time, basically. And those stones are placed in the hope. That stone alone isn't necessarily going to produce the results that you want, but as we put these things together. And then the hope also comes as you start to experience the changes and start seeing things get better, and your kids start doing better and you start doing better. And so then more and more hope comes, and you really have to chase that fear away, because we can't get where we want to be with that extreme fear of like, well, maybe it's working now, but what's going to happen when it's not working, or what am I going to do when this happens, or I've tried other things and it hasn't worked. And so it takes hope, kind of builds on itself, right? And I know it has with other things in our lives. When we start to have some success and we start to see, and we have to do that for our kids, we have to have hope, because our kids are also hopeless if we don't have hope. If we don't think things are going to get better, you can be pretty sure that they don't think it's going to get better either. And our fear that they're going to end up in prison, or that all the things, right? Like that's not instilling hope in them either, and it's not going to help them to create a better life. So hope is a really big piece of the framework. The third part of that is building confidence. I want you to have confidence to be the parent, and confidence to know that you are the right parent for this child. And even if it didn't turn out, the child didn't turn out the way you wanted, or the family didn't turn out the way you wanted, as far as, I've worked with so many families that have multiple kids with, neurodivergent things going on, mental health issues, all of the things, behavior problems. And so there's other experts that are involved, and the school and everybody may seem to have a better idea than you about what you should do, and you may have lost the confidence in just parenting this child, that you're doing a terrible job, that you're a failure, and that nothing's working, and all of that. And I have to come alongside you and help you to have that confidence that as you take these steps, as you place these stones, on this bridge, that this is the right thing to do, and it does build your confidence. Because your children, if they're having a lot of extreme behaviors, if they're in constant crisis or agitation or all of it, and you don't have any confidence either, there's no anchor for them. There's no solid object for them. And so part of that confidence is to help you to be a solid object, so that you can be there for your kids and you can instill that confidence in them. It's very difficult on kids if we're throwing our hands up and saying, I don't know what to do with you. I know it's said in frustration, but it instills an unsafe and fear in our child too. I don't think our kids should grow up thinking that no one can handle them or no one knows what to do with them. So you need some help to have that confidence to come alongside your kids in a stronger way. And then I think part of that is parenting today. I just feel like our society is doing a lot to disregard parents, to make you feel like maybe you can't make decisions, or you shouldn't tell your child what they can or cannot do, and it may feel like you can't parent, right? That it'd be better if someone else was doing it. And so we kind of outsource a lot of parenting things that we really could do in our family. And so I want to give you the confidence that as a family you can go through really hard things and do hard things, and it's going to be okay. You can do that. There's also 3 parts of the framework that actually give you tools. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. The first one has to do with safety. That's one of the first objectives that we work with. And it goes in, it's so important, because if your children are having out of control behaviors, if you don't feel safe, if other people in the family aren't safe, including the pets or the property, it really is true that your child doesn't feel safe. And so there's some tools that I give you to help create safety. And some of those tools are building the structure that we build, building those routines, building consistency. And sometimes we need help, especially if everything's been so chaotic. I know so many parents tell me, like, well, we started out having all of those things, but it wasn't working, or life just got too crazy. And so we haven't been doing that. And the safety or lack of safety, starts increasing more and more. And so there's some tools that I give you built around creating safety in your home. The second one, and these are not in order because these are all interrelated. So the second one has to do with regulation, and that is your child's ability to get themselves calm, even if they're super excited or if they're super upset. And I think that there's kind of a lie in teaching kids coping skills, that they're going to be able to do that on their own, that they're going to be able to manage those emotions on their own and be safe and calm. And that just isn't my experience in the kids that I work with. So I teach co-regulation, teach you how to be the solid object, how to get calm, how to help your child to let their brain copy your brain and get calm. And then as we get better at that, you will start to see your child be able to take those steps to get calm themselves. But yelling at our children to calm down doesn't work, just like it doesn't work for us when someone tells us to calm down. It's like, oh yeah, not probably going to do that. So regulation is a big piece of it, and regulation and safety go hand in hand, because if we're dysregulated, even as adults, if we're all dysregulated, then we're not safe. And we may some of us have better stop signs than others, of like, I'm dysregulated, but I can only go this far. Our kids may or may not have those same stops. And so regulation and safety go hand in hand, and teaching you to be that solid object, the anchor of all of that, is really an important part of it. And then the third one is communication. And if you've read parenting books or gone to workshops and, all these things like learning connecting language and trust-based parenting, all that kind of stuff, like when we talk about communication, it's so hard because it's so ingrained in us. If you are naturally a yeller, or you're demanding, or, all these things, and then you're being told like, you can't do this with these kids because they can't handle that, or they have demand avoidance, or, whatever it is, and you're trying to change how you do that, you're just kind of like, oh, I don't know what to say, or I don't know what to do. So having a coach to help you to work through those communication, because it is really twofold. I want everybody in the family to have better tools in communication. So there's things that your kids are working on, there's things you're working on, and this is a huge part of even creating safety and regulation, because if we don't have good communication skills to help our children to understand, if we lecture a lot, if we're not clear and concise, all of those things, it gets really, really tricky, and the kids aren't getting the message, and we're not getting our message, and that can, cause more dysregulation and lack of confidence and all of it, right? So the communication piece is super important. And again, as we're working on safety and regulation, we're also working on those skills. So it's really basic at first. It's, simple things like requiring the kids to give a good response, using full sentences, helping parents to stop talking, to be very clear and concise, saying what you want your child to do rather than telling them to stop doing something. Just little things like that are really good reminders that you can practice all the time, week after week, because it does take a lot of practice. Like, I wish it would just come naturally, and there are some people, maybe they were raised with that, they're really good at it. Other people, like myself, like I had to practice for years. And when I first started changing as a parent from being probably more seeing everything as kind of defiance, to changing like, I wonder what's going on, what is this behavior communicating, and then knowing what to do about it, which, if you've listened to me at all, that's the biggest thing for me. It's like, yes, I want you to understand what's going on in your child's brain and why they're doing the things they're doing, but more importantly, I want you to know what you can do about it and how we can affect change, because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what we want, right? Like, we want our family to be better, we want the kids to do better, we want to do better. So having the knowledge of what you can do is really, really helpful. And I know that when I was making that shift for myself, like, there were just times when I didn't even know what to do, because I couldn't do what I had been doing, because I had come to believe like that wasn't the most effective way, and it wasn't the best thing I could do for my kids. And I didn't have a parent coach. I didn't know anybody else was saying these things, or saying that we could parent a different way. And so it took a lot of having to really, like, I had notes, reminding me, different connecting words, things like that. If you've seen my book, Parenting Emotionally Distressed Kids, I give you some of those tools in the book, and I tell you, write these out on 3x5 cards or print them out, connecting words and different ways you can say things so that you're lecturing less or demanding less. You're not just telling your child no or yelling at them. And it just takes practice, but it does help, I think, anytime we're practicing anything, to have someone come alongside you in that journey. So there's a couple of different ways you can get that help. If you're listening to this and you've listened to, there's tons of YouTube videos out there where I give you lots of guidance, and you're welcome to listen to those over and over. Please like and subscribe to this channel so that you get the new ones every single week. But you can, if you want to talk to me about your situation and what's going on, then you can book a free consultation with me where we can talk about your situation and I can give you some help in the moment, and we can see if there's some additional support that you need. So you can do that by going to parentingchallengingkids.com, which is my website, and you can book that consultation on the Get Started page. The other thing that I would encourage you to do, if you're not brave enough to do a one-on-one call right off the bat, is join the Playroom. If you join the Playroom, you can also do that at parentingchallengingkids.com. You get an opportunity to hear other people be coached. It's open coaching, so if you have a question, it may feel safer to be able to ask it. You don't feel like you're in a group because you're going to kind of be one-on-one with me during that, and but you have that opportunity to also listen to the replay of it and get help for the moment, and or listen to other people get help, and it really is a growing experience. I've found that people that are in the Playroom that also have the book Parenting Emotionally Distressed Kids are seeing the most changes right now. The other thing that you might want to consider, and it's also on the website, is if you have a high degree of chaos and aggression and all of that, you may need more than once a week in the Playroom. You may want some one-on-one coaching. You would get that through the 12-week coaching program. So I just wanted you to know that there is help and support there that will help you to create the family that you want, that will help you to build that hope again that maybe you started off with in having a family, and to give you the confidence to parent even your most challenging kids, because really when we overcome challenges, I mean, it changes us so much, and I want you to experience the changes and the hope and the confidence that can come from going through this and feeling you're not going to feel perfect, because we're not perfect, right? And I know if you're a mom especially, you're going to be like, oh, I messed up, right? But to have someone there saying it's okay, your child's going to give you another chance, you get to try this again tomorrow, because they're probably going to do the same thing over and over. And so it's just having someone in your corner. If you feel like you need that, please go to parentingchallengingkids.com and see what I can do to help you further in your journey and in creating the family that you want. Thanks for listening today. Like and subscribe to these videos, and I will see you next week.